All right, welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be focusing on getting you ready for something pretty big, a mathematician job interview. Feeling those nerves.
Yeah.
I know I would be.
Oh, absolutely. It's a big step.
But don't worry, we've got you. We're diving deep into RoleCatcher's career and interview guides for mathematicians.
Great resources.
They're seriously awesome.
Yeah.
Going to give you the knowledge and the confidence to totally ace this interview.
Yeah, I think so.
So first, let's just step back and look at the big picture. What does this job actually involve?
Mm-hmm.
RoleCatcher's got this career guide, Mathematician, right?
Right.
And it breaks down everything, what the job actually looks like, the skills you need, different career paths you could take.
Yeah, and it really gets into those specific responsibilities at each stage, too. Entry level, junior, senior.
Yeah.
I think that's really crucial for people to understand.
Oh, for sure. I was
Yeah.
just looking at that. I mean, even at the entry level, they're talking about needing Python and MATLAB.
Yeah, pretty standard these days.
But then, when you get to the senior mathematician level,
Mm-hmm.
they start talking about publishing in high-impact journals. What even are those?
Oh, yeah, those are the big leagues, the publications that everyone in the field is reading and referencing, really influential stuff.
So basically, if you're publishing in those, you're like a rock star mathematician.
Pretty much. It shows you're making a real impact on the field, contributing to those cutting-edge advancements.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's say, you've got the skills, you've got the experience, you're ready for that interview.
Right.
RoleCatcher also has this interview guide, Mathematician, and they've got 8 sample questions in there.
Nice.
Super helpful, but what I really like is that they don't just give you the question, they tell you what the interviewer is actually looking for,
Yeah, the why behind the question.
Exactly.
Important.
So the first one is, what inspired you to pursue a career in mathematics? I feel like a lot of people would just be like, oh, I like math.
Yeah, but that's not going to cut it.
Right. So what are they actually looking for with this question?
They want to see that passion, that spark. What's your story? What made you fall in love with math? Was it a teacher, a book, a specific concept that just blew your mind? They want to know what makes you tick, what drives you as a mathematician.
I love that, like a math origin story.
Exactly.
Oh,
Paint that picture for them.
And I bet you could even talk about a specific project you worked on, something that really showed you the real-world power of math.
Absolutely. The more specific and personal you can make it, the better. And please avoid vague answers like, I'm good with numbers. Everyone interviewing for a mathematician role is probably good with numbers. What makes you stand out? What unique experiences have shaped your path?
Yeah, true. And no human calculator stories either. Unless, I don't know, you can actually calculate the square root of pi in your head. Okay, question number 2. What is your experience with mathematical modeling? Seems pretty standard, right?
It is, but it's a chance to show off how you think, how you approach a problem.
So it's not just about knowing the formulas.
No, it's about the process, the critical thinking, the ability to take a real-world problem and translate it into a mathematical framework. And here's a pro tip. Be prepared to talk about the limitations of models, too.
Oh, interesting.
It shows a deeper understanding. No model is perfect. Being able to explain those limitations and how you account for uncertainty, that sets a strong candidate apart.
So it's about being realistic, not just trying to pretend everything's perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, this is great stuff. But before we get too deep into the rest of these questions, I kind of want to touch on something else that RoleCatcher offers, because it's super cool.
What's that?
They're AI features. It's like having your own personal interview coach right there in your pocket.
Oh, yeah. That's a game changer. The Tailor with AI feature is incredible. It analyzes job descriptions and helps you craft your responses to really highlight those skills and experiences that matter most for each specific employer. Seriously. And then there's the Prepare with AI interview practice. You can actually record yourself answering these questions, and the AI gives you feedback, like on your delivery, your content, everything.
I know people who swear by that feature. They say it really helps boost their confidence,
Yeah.
You get to practice, get feedback, and refine your answers until you nail it.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got RoleCatcher in our corner. We're starting to get a handle on these interview questions.
Right.
Let's dive back in.
Let's do it. All right, so we're back, ready to tackle some more of these interview questions.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm kind of curious about this next one. Question 5. How do you approach a complex mathematical problem? Sounds a little intimidating, right? Like
Yeah.
showing them how your brain works.
It is a bit like that, but it's also a chance to show off your analytical skills, that systematic approach.
Mhm.
The key is to be clear, avoid getting lost in all the jargon, and just explain your process step by step. Like, how do you even define the problem in the first place? What are the variables? What strategies do you use? What tools? Right, because there's definitely a process there. It's not just magic, even though it might seem like that sometimes. And the guide even mentions talking about setbacks, challenges you faced.
Definitely. That's important. It shows you're resilient, that you can learn from mistakes. A follow-up question there can be something like, tell me about a time you hit a roadblock in your research. How'd you get past it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's like problem solving on top of problem solving.
Exactly.
Okay, question 6. What is your experience with mathematical optimization techniques? This one sounds a little more specialized.
Yeah, this is where they're really getting into those advanced concepts. Be ready to talk about specific techniques like linear programming, dynamic programming, things like that.
So if you've worked on projects involving optimization, this is your time to shine. Explain the problem, the techniques, the results, all of it.
Exactly. Concrete examples are key here. Did you use linear programming to, I don't know, optimize resource allocation in a manufacturing process? Did you apply dynamic programming to find the shortest path in a network? Get specific.
Love it. And what about follow-ups? What could they ask to dig a little deeper here?
They might ask about the limitations of the techniques you used or how you validated your results. They could even throw a hypothetical problem at you, see how you'd approach it.
Oh, that's a good one. You got to think on your feet.
You do. Okay, moving on to question 7. How do you communicate complex mathematical concepts to non-technical stakeholders? This is a big one because, let's face it, not everyone speaks math.
Right. Like, how do you explain this stuff to, normal people?
Exactly. And it's a crucial skill for any mathematician, especially in today's world. You might have to explain things to colleagues in different fields, to clients, maybe even to the public.
So it's not just about being a math whiz. It's about being a math communicator.
Exactly. They want to see that you can break down those complex ideas, make them understandable, maybe using visuals, analogies, keeping it clear and engaging.
Yeah, because a bunch of equations isn't going to cut it for most people.
Definitely not. A follow-up here could be like, tell me about a time you had to adjust your communication style to explain a math concept to a diverse audience.
I like that. Okay, last one in this set, question 8. What is your experience with mathematical software tools? Seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but don't just rattle off a list of software names. Connect those skills to real-world applications. Have you used MATLAB for data analysis, Mathematica for symbolic computation, R or Python for modeling or machine learning? Explain how you've actually used these tools in your work.
Concrete examples. We're sensing a theme here.
Absolutely, and don't be afraid to get a little technical. If
Yeah.
you've developed scripts, functions, anything like that, mention it. Shows initiative.
Nice. And what about follow-ups? They'll probably want to dig a little deeper here, right?
Oh, for sure. They might ask you to compare and contrast different tools or even present a hypothetical problem and ask how you'd solve it using a particular software.
So it's about knowing the tools and knowing when to use them.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we've covered all 8 sample questions from RoleCatcher's interview guide. That's a lot of good stuff.
It is. And remember, these are just a starting point. The specific questions in your interview might be different, but the principles are the same. Show that passion, those problem-solving skills, your technical knowledge, and communicate clearly.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher has your back. Those AI tools can help you tailor your responses, practice your delivery, all of that.
Seriously, such a valuable resource.
We'll be back in a sec with a final thought to leave you with. All right, we're back for the final stretch of this deep dive into mathematician interviews.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to think about, something that goes beyond those technical skills we've been talking about.
Okay, lay it on me.
We've talked about problem solving, communication, all those important things, but I think what truly sets those exceptional mathematicians apart, what makes them really stand out, is this relentless curiosity, this deep appreciation for the beauty and power of math.
I love that. It's like that spark, that passion that drives us to explore new frontiers, to untangle these crazy problems, and to find those elegant solutions that just make math so fascinating.
Exactly. So as you're prepping for this interview, don't just focus on memorizing formulas and stuff. Let that enthusiasm shine through. Talk about those aha moments, the things that made you fall in love with math in the first place.
Yeah, because that genuine passion, that's what's going to resonate with the interviewer. It's going
Right.
to show them that you're not just like skilled, but you're actually inspired by this world of mathematics.
Right, exactly. And remember, this is a journey, you know? Being a mathematician, it's a continuous process of learning and growing. Embrace those challenges, stay curious, keep exploring.
That's such great advice. Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of mathematician interviews, packed with insights, strategies, and hopefully a renewed sense of excitement for this incredible field.
Best of luck with that interview. We know you've got this.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep on exploring those mathematical mysteries.